There we go. Yep. We are recording. And if I, I'm trying to find that toast. What's the IP or the URL for the Toastmasters Club so I can go through that? The
ato.toastmasters.org.
Oh.
Toastmastersclubs.org.
Toastmastersclubs.org. Thank you.
Got it. I was missing an S. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. I'm going to
probably include our own club mission as opposed to the generic one.
Yeah. So hello and welcome. This is Advanced Toastmasters Online, where we are an advanced Toastmasters club which supports Maverick leaders in creating greater impact by providing advanced feedback on online presentations and leadership skills and discovering what it means to be out-of-the-box innovative leaders. We do meet monthly on the second Monday of each month at noon Eastern Standard Time, and I know that everyone in the world's time just changed, so it's always Eastern Time. Please arrive early in the future. So here's some meeting tips. If you're not familiar, we're all familiar with it. Remember to mute your microphone when you join. You can turn your video on and off so we can see you, and you can adjust your speaker view on your side by how you want to see the screen. So if you want to see everyone in gallery view, then you click on gallery view. If you want to just see the speaker, then you click on the speaker. When you have notes for the speakers, please wait until the speech is finished before you send those notes. That way the pop-up doesn't disrupt the speaker while they're talking. This meeting will be recorded. And if you know anyone who would like to become a charter member of Advanced Toastmasters Online, please share with them and let us know. And at this time, I'm going to pass our meeting over to our Toastmaster of the day, Lori Whitmore. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster, Lori Whitmore.
Thank you, Dawn. Well, we have a small number of people attending today, but we'll be small and mighty. We'll head right into our roles. Let's see, we don't have a grammarian or word master today. I have a word of the day. I had prepared it for my other club and we didn't end up using it. Let's see if I can find it really quick in my bag. The word of the day.
I got all sorts of words. They're just not good for word of the day.
Is
you'll find out.
conundrum. Yeah, I think I have it printed out, but maybe not. Conundrum is a good word. And where did I put it? Oh dear, I guess I'm not prepared. Anyway, conundrum. Our medical experts are struggling with the conundrum of solving this coronavirus. It's a problem that's difficult to solve. That's what a conundrum is. That'll be our word of the day, and I will keep track of uses of it. Conundrum. Doug, you're going to be our timer today.
Yep.
I don't know that we have to go through the role. We all know the role.
We all know the roles. We know to make sure to keep ourselves, or to keep me visible in the thumbnail so you can at least see the lights as I turn them on for the various times. Our speech is 5 to 7 minutes. I think that kind of covers what we need for timer.
Thank you, Doug. And our first prepared speaker today, and only speaker today, is Dawn Nocera. Dawn is working on a level 3 project for effective coaching, and this is a speech in preparation for that project. The title of her speech is The Challenge of Coming to a Consensus. The time is 5 to 7 minutes, Dawn. Time is 5 to 7 minutes. Please help me welcome Dawn.
Yay, yay, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to come in and do something a little bit different when within this Toastmasters group. I know we're Mavericks and we're out of the box and think in how we approach our club and approach what we're doing. And part of my level 3 is coming to a consensus. So the background for this, and I'm going to move into hopefully getting some feedback from everyone here who's advanced Toastmasters on helping me come to a consensus, or at least help me find a way to actually create this project and complete this project within Toastmasters. Coming to consensus is a part of my level 3 project in effective coaching, and I believe it's a part of many of the other paths within Toastmasters. I'm not sure if it's exclusive to the effective coaching path or not, but it is a required project. So I am having challenges of coming up with a coming to consensus project, or bringing that together in within a Toastmaster speech. So what I'm going to share with you just a couple of some of the challenges that I'm having. First, there's, coming to consensus within Toastmasters is kind of how they are asking us to do this project, coming to consensus within the club and spending 20 to I think 23 minutes of coming to consensus within a club meeting. So bringing that to the table is also becomes a challenge because of the time constraints. 22 minutes to give a speech, and with the intention to come to a consensus. So the challenges that I'm having is just in the definition of what is consensus building. It is, and I'll give you this definition here, it's a conflict resolution process used mainly to settle complex or multi-party disputes. And it's been in place since probably way before the 1980s. But it's been widely used in these environmental and public policies. But it's really useful when there's multiple parties involved. And the big thing here is that I focused on is the process allows various stakeholders, parties within interested in the problem or issue, to work together to develop a mutually acceptable solution. So when I'm thinking about coming to Toastmasters with this idea of solving and coming to consensus on a complex dispute or complex challenge, I think, well, what the heck are the complex disputes that we might find within Toastmasters? And this is where I am going to ask for audience participation. And I would love to hear just some ideas of what are some of the complex disputes or multi-party disputes, which I think is an interesting piece of this as well, but that we find within Toastmasters. So I'm going to open this up to anyone who has experienced a complex dispute within, and I like to say within a Toastmasters club, because that's part of the constraint of we're solving it within a club meeting. What are some of the complex disputes? Doug, do you have your mic open? Did you want to share complex dispute?
I could share one dispute that we've had within our clubs. in that a lot of clubs start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And this is a strictly United States thing, and it is not a Toastmasters thing. So there's a dispute as to whether to do that or not.
Great. That's a wonderful, I'm going to add this to my little notes here.
That's interesting, Doug, because the two clubs that Rick and I have been participating in here in Naples both do that, and I'd never seen that done before, ever. Not in our Massachusetts clubs. I had never seen that.
Oh, that's
It's being done at like district events, area contests, etc., training.
Wow.
And frankly, I disagree. Not surprising, really.
That's a great example, and very that's helpful to know like what are some of the disputes that could happen, and I have heard that one before. Thank you. Lori, what are yours that you're thinking of?
Well, I was thinking of, I'm not sure how much it happens in the club meeting itself, but there are disputes about how we run contests, how we select judges, criteria for contestants, things like that. I read a lot about it on the Facebook page. So some of the contest rules, I think there are disputes about either the rules themselves or how the rules are interpreted.
That's really good as well. Well, this helps me understand what are some of the complex disputes within Toastmasters. And I wanted to kind of finish, wrap it up, because this was the juice that I wanted to really receive from the club. But when we're talking about, just kind of like to put it on all of us, is like, who are the stakeholders of a normal club meeting? It's the members, the officers, the visitors, the facility, and then TMI, like bigger TMI. And sometimes we forget to think when we're making decisions that there are way more stakeholders than just the club officers. And then are we going to require all of them to be there when we're making a consensus or coming to a consensus? So that is I guess that's the end of my speech presentation. And you can see that, at least for me, coming to a consensus has been a challenge. And then also thinking that I'm going to do this within a club feels very challenging, that I would have to come up with a mutually acceptable, or not allow, but give space for a mutually acceptable solution. But thank you all for helping me give your feedback on coming to a consensus. So back to you, Lori.
Thank you, Dawn. It's a very thought-provoking speech. And perhaps you and I can follow up after the meeting, because as a former hippie, I have done a lot with consensus in my lifetime.
Nice.
And it's challenging, but I do have a lot of experience with it. Now, before we move on, I thought I would ask, does anyone have a speech in their back pocket that they would like to deliver? Okay, I just thought I'd put it out there to make it available. I have a feeling if Rick had video, he might have volunteered. All right, well, moving on to table topics. Doug is our table topics master, and I'm sure he's got some interesting topics for us today.
Good afternoon. I have what I call not the word of the day table topics. I have a list of obscure words that some of them are just weird, others they don't mean what you might think that they mean. and hopefully you don't actually know what they mean, because the point of the topic is I will show you the word, and for 2 minutes, you get to give us your definition. After the topic, I will give you give you the actual dictionary definition. But the point is to have some fun and see some rather bizarre words that we can have a bit of fun defining. So, Rick, I see your hand is raised, so I'm going to give you the first word. Actually, pick a number from 1 to 10.
10.
Okay. Here's the first word, and I can type it into the chat as well, but here is your word.
Osculate.
Yep. Now, if you know the word already, we can choose another one.
Well, I can't say that I'm an expert on osculating. Thank you very much, Mr. Topic Master, for the opportunity to be the first one to deliver a speech on an absurd word. However, osculate does bring back some ideas of osculating fan. So maybe when I oscillate, it means I'm running around in circles. I think that's what the meaning of osculating is. However, I think that this definition is not what you're looking for. I think the definition that what you're really looking for is something that politicians do extremely well, is speak in circles and never give an answer or get anywhere. Therefore, to osculate is to just filibuster. There's another word. Filibuster into such a way that we're running around and running around and running around verbally. And where do we get? Deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole. Therefore, I will end my osculating for this answer and allow the topics master to choose somebody else with a word that hopefully that you will have some idea as to the meaning of. Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Rick, for giving us a definition of osculate. Although I think you were definitely thinking of oscillate, which is different. Because in fact,
You're right.
osculate is a verb, but it means to kiss.
To kiss?
Yes. And
Similar
so,
idea to speaking in
although I
circles.
think that it definitely does relate to politicians, except in that case it would be posterior osculation.
That's too much.
Who would like to be next? Lori. So pick a number between 3 and 15.
5.
All right. Here's your word. And I'll put it in the chat as well.
Do you say it? So I know how to pronounce it?
Oh, that's part of the fun. You get to figure that out.
Dacier? Oh, maybe it's more interesting like de jure. I think I like de jure better. Mr. Topics Master, thank you for this challenge. De jure is a new Italian wine. It comes from the vineyards just outside of Rome, and it has this interesting blend of spice and sweetness. And it's been all the rage in Italy for the last year or so. The new wine, de jure. I think that's all I have to say about it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to double up on timer as well. Well, thank you for the definition of here. And actually, it is a particular type of mammal, a flesh-eating marsupial, to be specific. It's a
And
noun.
how do you pronounce it?
Dasyure.
Dasyure.
And so, Dawn, you get to pick a number between -7 and 256.
Was 7 already chosen?
Oh, it doesn't matter. The numbers don't mean anything. I'm just probably having some fun.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I was like, I want 7.
Okay. I'm basically just flipping the pages and coming up with a word randomly because I got a whole list of words.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
This is the one that comes up for you.
Okay.
We'll call it 7.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Haboob. Ha-boob is a delicacy of fine food from the Middle East. It comes on a stick like a kebab, but it's a haboob. And it's a delicacy because it's a mystery of what type of meat it actually is, but it is a meat. A delicate flavor of meat that's that makes you laugh hysterically. But it has a lot of flavor, and you cannot get it anywhere else other than actually traveling to the Middle East, where you can have this nice haboob delicacy for dinner, which would make you laugh hysterically, which is all a part of its magic. So back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dawn, for giving us the definition of haboob. The Middle East is actually quite a reasonable connection to make because, in fact, it's a type of desert sandstorm. And I believe that the word is Middle Eastern in origin. So that brings us to the end of our Not Your Word of the Day topics.
Doug, do you know the definition of every single of the words you have?
Oh, yeah, because I actually have a definition sheet as well that I had to type up.
But if you're not looking at it, what I mean is, could you take a word for yourself?
Sure. Some of them I do know, but I can just flip through and see. Seems to be a bit of a conundrum to find ones that I don't know because I've been working with them, but.
I would like to suggest a word.
Okay.
Hypnagogic. Hypnagogic. Hypnagogic.
Hypnagogic. Let me start the clock here. Hypnagogic. This is a very cerebral word. It's a state of meditation that's reached by yogis. Now, this is a very important state because it's used to determine guilt or innocence of criminals through meditation. So the yogi who is passing judgment goes into a state of meditation and heightened awareness where he can concentrate, or she can concentrate on the evidence at hand and also on the accused. And through that heightened awareness, they reach a hypnotic state where they can just know the sense of guilt or innocence. And then they can hypnagogically cast their verdict and determine the fate of the accused. Hypnagogic.
Excellent, excellent. It's an adjective of French origin from the late 19th century, relating to the state immediately before falling asleep, encouraging sleep. So, thinking about finding somebody guilty or innocent, sleeping through the idea is a great idea. I turn the lectern back over to whomever.
Right. Well, as the table topics master, I will turn the lectern back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Doug. Great job challenging us with words we're not familiar with and seeing how creative we can be. That was fun. Now, I'm noticing we don't have an official GE, so I'm going to fill in as GE today and call on our first evaluator, Rick, who will be evaluating Dawn's speech and then leading us in a round-robin group evaluation.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, or General Evaluator, or whatever we want to be today. Talking about Dawn's speech, I loved it. I thought it brought a lot of information forward. One thing I would like to suggest is the beginning of her speech could have been included in the introduction rather than spend an extra minute on the beginning, because the speech seemed to fly by. I'm making body motions, but nobody can see me. The speech flew by because it was very interesting to all of us. Take that beginning part where you're describing what the speech is and put that in the introduction. The introduction can be last a minute, 2 minutes, and it's not going to take away your speech time. In Dawn's speech, the first thing that came up was slides. Sometimes I think, oh, slides. But Dawn didn't read from the slides. She used them to highlight sections and for us to see from that and be able to really grab what was being said. I thought it was a fantastic use of the slides and the highlighting the area of it. Of course, you have to be really paying attention to the slide while you're doing it, not looking at the audience, but on an online club, this was perfect. I thought it was an excellent use of the computer. Another thing I really liked was asking for examples of conflicts within Toastmasters. I wish you could see me because you would have seen my hand bouncing up and down because I wanted to add something, but it got added anyway. It was really well done. A gift I would like to offer, the end seemed to be abrupt. It didn't feel like a speech was ending. It felt to me like there's more to come. Where is it? However, Dawn was paying attention to timing lights and realized, I got to get off the subject. I would love to see that speech done again, taking into consideration the the intro and fixing that a little bit, or improving that a little bit, I should say. And maybe asking for more than 5 to 7 minutes, because this speech really had a lot to it, and I think it could be used as an educational speech even within a district conference. I am complete with my section of the evaluation. I'd like to ask if there's anybody that would like to add to it. Lori.
I really liked Dawn's speech. I liked how she used the slides to help us focus in on specifically what she's trying to achieve regarding consensus. One small suggestion I have for Dawn is that on the last slide, it only had like one sentence, and when she was done talking about it, I think it would have been better to close out sharing her screen and come back to letting us see everyone's faces in the larger scale. So we didn't need to keep looking at that last slide for as long as we did. It's a really small detail. I also liked how Dawn opened it up to the group to give her ideas on conflicts or disputes within a club that might need consensus. And it showed how she's giving this a lot of thought. I thought it was very well done. Back to you, Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you. Doug, did you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I guess I'm the only other one.
Yes, that's why I called you.
I thought it was good. Really, I thought that this was more of a question and answer period or an interaction period than specifically a speech. The speech part kind of was the setup to what sorts of questions Dawn was looking for. And I think that part was done quite well. We were set up well to know where this was going. And one of the things I really actually quite liked, it's something that I've thought about, is, I mean, Dawn's use of the slides to take notes on as we brought up points of interest. This is essentially a way that we can use a whiteboard or a flip chart to record what's being said in an online meeting. You know, something that I've been trying to think about in terms of online presentations is how do you record that? So, yeah, using an emptier slide and just being able to write it down, you know, in edit mode. I was thinking the chat box could also work for that too, but that was a good idea. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Doug. That concludes the evaluation to Dawn's speech, and now I turn it back over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Rick. Well, overall, I think we've had, like I said at the beginning, a short but mighty meeting of the four of us. We had Doug use the word of the day, conundrum, and we had a speech that I think was meaningful and valuable for all of us to hear and participate in, so that we learned something today together as a group. And I think we used the time really well. Our table topics were quite challenging, and everyone rose to the occasion to make up interesting, creative definitions for words that we were handed. I even liked, at first I didn't like it, but then I did like how Doug even had us figure out how to pronounce the word. And just overall, it was a pleasure to be with all of you today in our monthly meeting. Anyone have anything to add? Oh, we need a timer's report.
Yep. Okay, I'm not muted. Great. Timers report. Dawn, your speech was 7 minutes and 50 seconds, and I do kind of agree with Rick. This is one that could have definitely gone longer in terms of the discussion. And then for table topics, Rick was 1 minute 15. Lori, you were 53 seconds. Dawn, 1 minute 27. I forgot to write myself down. And Rick, your evaluation was 2 minutes 29 seconds with 2 minutes 42 for the round robin. That is my report.
Thank you, Doug. I think this is the first table topic I've had in 20 years where I didn't take 1 minute. Well, that concludes our meeting for today. We're really early at 12:38.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to stop recording, Dawn?